What is going on, my heavy hitters? This is Square Circle Comics. I go by the name of BX Boxer. I want to thank you guys for joining me here today. Loki episode 1. We're going to talk spoilers, my opinions, who I think the big baddie is, and Aim Mephisto. You need to cut that out. Now let's get into the intro. You already know what it is. Come on. From Infinity Stones to the fact that we had a secret war, this first episode of Loki was just straight up mind-blowing to me, in my opinion. Guys, this is Square Circle Comics. I want to thank you for stepping into the Square Circle with me, BX Boxer. Guys, if you're new here, thank you guys for clicking on this thumbnail, and thank you for being here today. Guys, if you're not already, subscribe to the channel, hit the subscription button, hit the like button, share this video, and guys, I can't stress this enough, comment in the comment section. I love hearing everybody's opinions and views on what I'm talking about on the same topic. I want to see what your guys' opinions is, what your theories might be, because I have a few theories about this episode. But let's get into it, guys. Loki episode number 1, very good episode in my opinion, very strong episode. It was crazy to say the least. Like I said, we had Mind Stones, we had Infinity Stones, we had the Secret War. It was amazing. So basically, this episode, to sum it up in a nutshell, Loki got caught. He got caught by what he did in the middle of the movie of Endgame, with the Avengers Endgame movie. Took the Tesseract. TVA caught him. We found out he is a variant, just like the comics that we know and love. We don't know if he's the Momoko variant, he's the Del Otto variant, he's the Alex Ross variant. He might be the Jim Huckleyan variant. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what variant he is. He could be any variant right now. He's a 1 in 50 in my opinion. But anyway, at any rate, he is a variant because he is not the original Loki who died in Infinity War. He is a one from a different multiverse. And he's basically being brought up to speed on what the TVA is, who they are. And while in the office of the TVA, it looked like the DMV over on 34th Street, or maybe the one on Zariga Avenue here in the Bronx. He finds out that there are many multiverses. He is just one little small speck in the multiverse. And that in the past, there was a big multiversal war, also known as the Secret Wars, which I thought was pretty cool to hear. Can the Secret War that we're going to lead into, can lead into other multiverses, possibly other characters, setting up the major big things in the MCU? It's quite possible. Like I said, this episode just takes you to so many places. So after he gets basically briefed on the TVA, we basically get a quick scene into 1954 or 1594, I want to say, in France, in the church. And we quickly see a little kid. We see that there's like a murder scene. What I picked up very quickly, and what I thought was very interesting, that one of the officers said same stab wounds. When he said that, my mind already went to Loki, because we all know Loki loves to have his 2 little daggers. He has had on a few comic covers. He has had it in Thor Ragnarok, and if I'm not mistaken, he had it in Avengers number 1. He loves his daggers. So I already immediately knew that that was a Loki thing, because no other villain that I know has 2 daggers. Anyway, at any rate, we see a child come in, and Owen Wilson's character Mobius quickly talks to the child. He asks the child, what happened, who did this? The child points to the devil mosaic painting on the wall, the lighting, and we all know it's not Mephisto. We know it's not Mephisto, but we do know it was a devil-like person, none other than Loki, which we quickly find out in the episode. They're hunting a variant version of Loki, and they need the present Loki that they have right now to stop him. So when they're reading Loki his rights in the TVA courthouse, Mobius pops up. Is like, listen, I can use him, we need him, basically to bait the other Loki we found out later in the episode, the Loki that they're hunting for. While being read his rights in the TVA courthouse, I want to touch on this real quick, guys, because I thought this was pretty cool. And this is where my theory starts to kick in, how my gears start grinding in my head. The judge who was talking to Loki is basically telling him that we have timekeepers that keep time steady. They want things to happen that are supposed to happen. So they're basically controlling destiny, making destiny what it is. And Loki was on some dry snitch, and he was like, why the Avengers aren't here? And she basically told him that was supposed to happen. I found that very important, because we all know that in Infinity War, Doctor Strange said there was a 1 in 14 million chance. So the fact that the Doctor Strange knew the destiny was supposed to happen, then the timekeepers keep the flux of time. I want to touch on that, because we all know that time in Marvel Comics and everything like that is not only Doctor Strange, but we get Kang the Conqueror from the TVA and things like that. And he's not rumored, he's confirmed for Ant-Man Quantumania. My opinion after watching this show and hearing about the timekeepers and how to hear constant steadiness, I honestly think that Kang the Conqueror will be one of the timekeepers in this show. He is definitely a big bad. We might not see him in this show, but he is the big bad in this show. And he has a variant version of Loki working for him. Why do I say that? Well, because if timekeepers keep this time steady in their own destiny of how they want things, Kang the Conqueror, the villain that he is, that will be something that he will be intrigued. And I feel like it will be a scenario when we had S.H.I.E.L.D. and we had sleeper agents like Arnim Zola, Strucker, Sitwell that were working for Hydra in S.H.I.E.L.D. I feel like Kang the Conqueror, he is that sleeper person, that sleeper agent in the TVA. And there's a grander scheme here that they do not know about. And maybe the TVA has been contributing to the fact that Kang the Conqueror is trying to manipulate the multiverses in some way, and they don't even know it. So it's quite possible that TVA might not even be the good guys in this. They might be the bad guys. One thing I did like about this episode too, the Mobius character, he reminded me straight up of Agent Coulson from S.H.I.E.L.D. The way that Coulson vibes with Captain America, I feel like Mobius vibes with Loki, because he was quickly trying to talk to him. He even told him, I'm a fan of yours. But he's basically trying to break him to see who he is, trying to make him realize who he is, because we all know that they're hunting now a version of Loki, another variant. So I feel like he's trying to get Loki to realize who he is. So when he comes across this variant, he knows who he is, and he knows that that is not the person that he is, even though that is a version of him, if that makes any sense. But it's pretty cool to see, guys, because what I took away from this show too is that another thing that happened before I go into that, Mobius is basically showing Loki what he has done in the past, and Loki ends up manipulating people in the TVA. He ends up being alone in the room. There's this device that he can basically see his future. And he's looking, and he basically sees that he dies in the hands of Thanos. He sees his father, Odin, dead. He sees his mother, Frigga, die, which breaks him emotionally, physically, like mentally. And then he basically sees, we see that family means a lot to Loki more than what we would know ever. Well, to this variant anyway. Because we see him laughing with Thor, and he's basically enjoying that. He's enjoying the moments that he's having with his brother. So I feel like in this show, when this variant version of Loki comes across the one that they're hunting, he's going to realize that instead of him always wanting to be a god, because he said in this episode, he wanted to be the god of Midgard. He wanted to be the king of Earth. And I feel like the variant that they're hunting wants to be the king of time. So I feel like when he comes across this version of Loki that they're hunting, the variant, he's going to quickly realize instead of him always wanting to be a king, he has never been nothing of a king. And I think Mobius even said in the episode, he's never been a king. He's never been able to rule. He's been more like a henchman, because we saw that Loki was working for Thanos, and we quickly see that in this one. In my opinion, what I think will happen is that Loki will be working for Kang, and that's how this series will play out. Kang's gonna play a big role. We all know the bad person in this show, the villain, is Loki, not the one that we after. And we're gonna definitely see multiple Lokis in this episode from any comics, guys. I'm not gonna talk comics here. I'll leave that to my boys at Principal Defects and Gem Mint, Gary, even Pharaoh, and my boy UniX on Instagram. Guys, go check him out. He is great knowledge, man. I'm telling you, he's like an encyclopedia with this. But yeah, any variant that you have seen or any version of Loki that you see in the comic books, guys, if you see them, pick them up, because this show will go above and beyond, because we're talking multiversal levels. We're going from Earth, from maybe we might even get a 616 reference or whatever kind of Earth reference. But yeah, man, it was a great episode. But that's my theory. I honestly think that Kang the Conqueror is a timekeeper manipulating the multiverses, and he has a maybe not one version of Loki's, but multiple versions of Loki's working for him. And the TVA is not what we think, but it may not be because that they didn't know, but they're being basically led by a person who's out for all the wrong reasons, guys. I can't wait for all the other episodes. If this first episode did this and had this much impact, I can't only imagine what will happen with all the other episodes. And it's great, to say the least, in my opinion. But guys, if I missed anything, if you guys picked up on anything that I didn't touch upon, comment in the comment section, guys. Let me know. Guys, punch that like button. Give it just a little for me, you know what I'm saying? And guys, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. You guys already know I'm your boy BX Boxer. Until next time, guys, I want y'all to stay good, stay well. I'm gonna catch you on the next episode.